The Lord said, Abraham, go. Leave the house. Leave the mother and the father.
Excuse me, you sound like
go in the journey.
A real African with a sombrero.
Alright, church. I am Habla Pimpé, understand me? Hope y'all understood. And like the last episode, we talking about putting in the work, understand me? Right. I am Habla Pimpé. We are there. Allah Protege. Understand me, church?
How you gonna say that in Spanish for me?
That's El Pastor.
El Pastor, understand?
El Pastor.
Appreciate that,
We have your PPP plan, understand me, church?
yes, please explain PPP.
PPP is the Personal Protection Plan, church, understand me? Personal Protection Plan. Tonight's episode, understand me, is about Abraham, the Good Shepherd. Pastor, give us the word.
I will proceed.
Understand me, church. Understand me, church. We have a good word for you tonight.
Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. All right, so we are in the 13th chapter of Genesis. We just got through with chapter 12 where Abraham was putting in the work.
You don't gotta go to work.
So putting in the work set him up to this 13th chapter where everything was going good, but then there was a separation between Abraham and Lot. So in verse 1 of Genesis 13 it says, so Abraham went up from Egypt to Negev with his wife and everything he had, and Lot went with them. Abraham had become very wealthy in livestock and in silver and in gold. From Negev he went from place to place until he came to Bethel, to the place between Bethel and Ai, where his tent had been earlier and where he had first built an altar. There Abraham called on the name of the Lord. So Lot went down. They was moving about with Abraham, and after they went on with their flocks and their herds and everything was growing, they was moving around with their tents. Bible says, verse 6, but the land could not support them while they stayed together. So here you have two individuals that lived together. They were relatives, close kin, but they had gotten so much, God had blessed them so much together, it said it was hard for them to live together because they were so blessed. It said for their possessions were so great that they were not able to stay together. I wonder, do y'all have anything to say about that? Like when people get so successful, they can't work with each other? What's going on with that?
Well, El Pastor,
Let me hear.
there were several stories before they came to this end. Understand me, church? Why don't we backtrack a little bit to tell the church how they get to this point where they go back to the land where they in. Tell the church of the covenant, Pastor, of how when Abraham, he reached out. He left the land with his mother and his father. Pastor, he went to Egypt.
Seems like you've been studying.
Understand me, church? The Pimpé and study A. Understand me, church?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Pastor, give them the whole word.
So in chapter 12, if he lived according to the will, Abraham that is, of Christ, the Lord had already promised him that the land that he touched would be blessed.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a discussion before the discussion.
Run us over, church.
Yes. We had a discussion before discussion.
Cup.
And so Mr. Norris here, that's his real name. Norris. Oh, my bad. The producer told his name was, what was that? Chuck Norris.
And presenting this J. Intellectually. Masculinity. Perceivity. Understand me, church.
So when you deal with the matter of that, living in the will of God, he said all the land he touched was blessed, but he concluded saying that he doesn't think that Abraham worked for anything that God gave him. So can you share with us why you think he didn't work for it?
Hey, Pastor, he had many trials, he had many tribulations, understand me, church. But The covenant was sealed the moment Abraham followed the Lord's words and he stepped out in faith. Understand me, church? The Lord said, Abraham, go. Leave the house. Leave the mother and the father.
Excuse me, you sound like
Go in the journey.
a real African with a sombrero.
Get it together, protege.
Okay, you sound like a real Nigerian brother, South African with a sombrero.
I am African descent.
But proceed on, Pimp.
What else do you want from me, church? I am not Mexican.
It's okay, you doing the best
I
you
am
can.
African man. Understand
You
me,
doing
church?
the best you can, baby. You all right.
So Abraham, he went on a great journey.
Uh-huh.
Because the Lord said so, church. Because the Lord said so. And they had many trials. El Presidente, masculinity, understand me. He believes that when Abraham got to the land of East of Bethel, is that what the church says?
Yes. East of Bethel.
Understand me, church? Things got hard on Abraham. So they go to the land of milk and honey. Understand me, church? They go to Egypt. But in order to go to Egypt, he had to tell his wife, you are no longer my wife. You are now my sister.
Oh, man.
Because if Pharaoh understand me, if Pharaoh finds out you my sister, he will kill me and he will bamboozle you. Understand me, church?
All right, let's play bamboozled.
And we can't have that. The Lord said we go proper. So we just go simp out. And we go to Egypt and we go have land and milk and honey and it's gonna be all good and Pharaoh go pay us and we go on by our merry way. Sarah. Understand me, church?
So no work.
Well, some work. The only work he had to do was step out on faith, church. From Pip's perspective, he stepped out on faith, cup run the boat.
Well, it's a conflict in the word because faith without works is dead.
The Lord gave him promise, aka covenant. He stepped out on faith. Only thing our Lord asked Abraham to do is leave the family. Go, understand me. Go. Step out on faith. Small step for man, big step for mankind. Understand me, church?
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Miss Protege. Please help us.
So, you mean to tell me? You mean to tell me
Understand me, church?
that you actually believe this foolishness that you are
Yes.
presenting?
The Lord is good all the time.
Okay.
Every time.
Pastor, I have a strong opinion of what we've studied.
Okay.
And I am sorry, but
Tell the Pippi all about it.
okay. All right, El Pimpe, El Pastor. I feel like there was a lot of movement going on, congregation, that I actually, as I studied, I could not believe I actually found that text in the Bible. It's hit or miss. It's a double-edged sword. El Pimpe here says that basically Abraham pimped his wife out,
Bless his heart.
told her to tell the Pharaoh, you are not my wife.
So why did they do that?
I mean, they say it was to save the man's life, but for Christ's sake, you know, I serve a God who I know is able, and I just feel like, you know, that was scaling, you know, thin ice. Like, why would you give your wife to another man? You know, I think it was a selfish move. I think it was a simp move. I think it was you played yourself short. You don't know what God would have had in store for the other side of it. As the El Pimpe say, the covenant was already, the promise had already been given. Who's to say that if you would have went to Pharaoh and been honest, that God wouldn't have protected you, your wife, and everybody with you as he had promised El Pimpe.
And
Understand.
he's a guy that cannot lie.
The covenant was sealed as soon as he go.
So that's where my conflict in the text comes in.
So you think
El
that's
Pastor.
where we run into problems now today, if we feel like it's going to get difficult or it's going to be an obstacle, we might get
Simp
turned
out.
down.
You simp out. You simp out every time.
Yes.
You simp out every time.
El Pimpe believed they never should have left Bethel.
They should
leave-
stay where they were at.
They should have left family. The Lord said leave family, nothing more. He said nothing about go to Egypt. He said nothing about tell Pharaoh wife his sister. None of that.
Well, El Pimpe, as Pastor stated in the text, there was a small disturbance between Lot and Abram.
Let's talk about that.
That's after Egypt.
No,
They returned
Yes.
back to Bethel.
they returned back to
Yes,
Bethel,
but that's after Egypt.
which is when the pimping out came in.
He pimped out in Egypt though.
All
He
right.
simped out and pimped out.
Pastor, can you clear this up
Pimped
for
out
us
and
because
pimped out.
me and El Pepe,
Simped out and pimped out. Straight
So,
up and
let's
pimped
see.
out.
Let's see what the word. let's see what the word has to say about it.
No, what I'm talking about, church.
Okay. Everybody has their opinion.
Yes.
We must know that on this panel, we all have 3 different opinions.
Hey,
All
church.
right. But at the end of the day, the word has the final say. So.
Church,
Yes.
understand me. Please like and subscribe. Understand me. This is a good show. Understand me. El Pimpe is on the road. Understand me.
He's definitely on the road, guys. All right. So let's look at this a little closer. So now it says, so Abraham said to Lot, let's not have any quarreling. So some quarreling is going on because their possessions were too great one with another. So evidently they couldn't coexist one with another.
Because, just to give the context, the reason why this situation has arisen, because in spite of Abraham simp out and pimp out, draped up and dripped out,
Staying draped up and dripped out. Know what I'm talking about?
he was still blessed when he left Egypt, even with the finesse, because the Lord protect Abraham. All Abraham had to do step out on faith. The Lord protect him. When is a strong Pharaoh to be like, hey, I know you came here. I know you finessed Pharaoh. I know you lied to me. I know you tell this is your wife. I know you tell me this is your sister and it's really your wife. But you go. I don't want no more you here. You go, take all this stuff, take all the jewels, take all the prized possessions I give you.
So you saying that God will bless you even when you make mistakes and do stuff the way you want to do it?
Understand me, church. All he had to do was step out.
All right.
Nothing more.
All right.
Every other decision past that,
That's solid
it's in the wishy-washy, whatever. The Lord understands you're going to simp out. Understand me, church? The Lord understands your simp nature is upon you. The Lord is fully aware of your simp nature.
He's fully aware.
You can't help yourself.
Really?
So the Lord understands this. He understands Abraham go probably simp out. He said, hey, Abraham, all you have to do is go, and everything else will be okay.
I got you covered.
Understand me, church?
PPP plan.
PPP
Personal
plan,
protection plan,
Lord
church.
help.
Okay. Well, let's go.
But the
Let's
pimp-
go a little further here.
The protege and the El Pastor.
Okay.
Verse 9, it says, it's not the whole land before you. Let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left. Lot looked around and saw that the whole plain of Jordan toward Zoar was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself. You do have a choice. Lot chose for himself the whole plain of Jordan and set out toward the east. The 2 men parted company. Abraham lived in Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched the tents near Sodom. Now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. The Lord said to Abraham after Lot had parted from him, look around from where you are, the north and the south, the east and the west. All the land that you see, I will give you and your offspring. I think that's right there confirming what El Pepe is trying to say.
Understand me, church?
All the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go walk through the length and the breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you. So the Lord continually reminded Abraham that what I said I was going to give you, I'm going to give it to you. So Abraham went to live near the great trees of Mamre and Hebron, where he pitched his tents. There he built an altar to the Lord.
El protege, you have not said nothing all night. What do you have to say about Abraham simping out?
I mean,
Even though he became draped up and dripped out.
Staying draped up and dripped out. Know what I'm talking about?
hey, I feel like this is something that really touches the souls of people in everyday life today. Like, since the beginning of time, we've been making mistakes, and the Lord has been keeping us. So it kind of puts you in the mind frame of what we spoke on our in our last segments, that what is a Christian? Like, what makes you worthy?
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
And as you can see, even these people in this time were doing dramatic things that for us, we would ridicule. You know, we would criticize and beat a person down for some of the texts that we studied over. And I just feel like it's very relatable to each and every person in today's society, that sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know, I won't necessarily say in the name of the Lord, but I will say sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get where you're going. And that's a part of doing the work, which is where I feel like we are. Like, it's going to get hard. Life gets challenging. There's great obstacles and everything, but it's like you have to make the choices that will get you to the other side. You know, sometimes we find ourselves in unpredictable situations. El Pimpe, you know.
So what do you think this your choice Abraham made that got him to the promised land?
That joker Simp. That joker Simp his way to the promised land. You're,
Bless his heart.
Yeah, bless his heart.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that because God honored his faithfulness from the jump.
But Pastor, even though God honored it, he was still doing a little finessing till he got where he was going.
I believe everybody on the panel got some finesse in them.
I mean, I understand, but I admit I am a finesser. Okay.
Now let me ask you this: with all your finessing ways, you rose up on that.
I am.
In all your finessing ways, bills still paid.
I mean, I go to work every day, Pastor.
Kids taken care of.
I mean, I feed and take care of them
Got
too.
decent bill of health.
Yeah, I try to keep my health up, drink a lot of water.
Folk died last night, but you woke up.
Every day above ground is a good day.
Coca-Cola Classic and diet.
Listen here, Congress.
Because I always trying to shed light on your shortcomings.
My shortcomings. Lord,
but you're still blessed because overall, El Pimpe says that Abraham, all he had to do was stay in the will, keep his faith, right?
One small step for man. One big step for mankind.
Okay.
Father Abraham had many sons. And many sons had Father Abraham.
Oh, you about to sing it?
And I am one of them, and so are you. So let's go, place, go. Right arm, left arm, right foot, left foot.
Join in, Bible.
Oh my God.
Y'all know about Vacation Bible School. Y'all better stop playing. Yeah.
Ooh, Lord.
I want to say it's fair to say this, that ultimately, God really loves us more than we deserve.
Absolutely.
That's my hearts.
If we tell the truth, we've all done some sneaky stuff.
Yes, we have.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that's watching. You cheated on a test in school or something. You know that one smart person that was in school?
Yeah.
Everybody looked on their paper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe y'all was a smart person, I don't know, but I looked on somebody's paper a couple times.
El
right?
Pepe was a smart one, understand me.
He was. Hey, believe it or not, this guy
was a smart
this
one.
guy was really classified as L7 in the school.
Understand me,
and
Church.
then all of a sudden,
Hey,
I don't know what happened. He went to
El Pepe
surgery
made
and came
100%.
back El Pepe.
El Pepe had 100% on test test, understand me. He was real good with numbers.
Wow.
Everything must add up, understand me, church.
So God really can use anyone that's watching, anyone on this panel. God's gonna do what He's gonna do anyway. He writes in His Word, there's nothing new under the sun. So everything that's happening in your life right now is supposed to happen. Everything that's happening right now is supposed to happen right now. And everything that happens tomorrow was gonna happen tomorrow anyway. Because we can't put nothing to it and we can't take nothing away from God's Word. So let's be encouraged, just have a little faith. All of us could use a little bit more of that, especially right now. They talking about monkeypox and all this type of stuff.
Oh,
I mean, I'm just trying to figure it out. They tried to scare us with corona, now it's monkeypox. I'm like,
Lord,
did a monkey jump on somebody there?
I told you a male. You said she. I said male.
I'm just saying, they're going to have us scared. So listen, you better have a relationship with God, like and subscribe for real. Because we gonna keep it real on this show, okay? You might not like every conversation, you might not like the topic, you might not like us, but guess what? God still loves us. We Abraham descendants. You know what I'm saying? We kin to Abraham, so the ground we walk on is blessed regardless. So you may as well just step into your greatness. All right. So our last and final words, we're here from the protege, and then maybe we'll hear a little something from El Pimpe over there if he ain't sweated himself out of his outfit tonight.
Listen, tonight's topic was something that really penetrated my soul. In spite of us having our guest tonight, El Pimpe.
Understand me, Church.
And of course the pastor. I think that the information that was given tonight is something that can be applied to everyone's life. Get busy. Get busy doing the work. And even if that's just making a decision, sometimes that's all the work is. To make the right decision and stay focused and move in your purpose. Find your purpose. And whatever it is, let God lead it and go forward. I mean, I see a lot of people these days and times that are just completely stagnant. This movement that we have going on, the Congregation Couch, Survival of the Simp in general, is a vast movement that was inspired and completely led by God for all of us to bring a mirror for you guys to get into it. Get into God. Like, no matter what platform in life you're on, no matter where you're at in life, we want you to get into God, put him at forefront, sacrifice it all for him, even your man, your wife, the kids, whatever it takes for you to have that relationship that is just supreme and absolutely affectionate and passionate with God.
Extreme dip on chip. Understand me, Church.
That's
Who makes the freshest, creamiest dip?
it, the dip on the chip.
Maggi onion soup and Nestle reduced cream for the freshest, creamiest dip anyone can make.
The world.
Big
And
grab,
everything in it.
no Catalina thins.
Understand me, Church.
Get it.
You know, hey, protege, we have been saying that long. It's actually Cantina things. Understand me, Church.
Oh, wow. Cantina?
We've been saying Catalina. But El Pimpe actually prefers Catalina, but it's actually Cantina. Understand me, Church. We have been saying it wrong.
I just want y'all to know, even when you make bad decisions, even when you make bad decisions, because Lot made a bad decision, right? And I just want to tie it all back into the text one more time.
Yeah.
I saw we had a few minutes left. So,
Hey, big grab, Church.
I want to say
big
this,
grab.
that Lot, he made a bad decision, but I was looking at this and it jumped out at me that the fact that even though he made a bad decision, if we'll keep our Bibles open and we continue reading our Bibles from Genesis 12 to 13 now going into 14, you'll discover the very first verses of chapter 14 where the Bible declares that Abraham went to go save Lot. So even though Lot went one way and he went another way, God still has mercy on us when we make the wrong decision and go the wrong direction. He doesn't leave us there. Now, you might stay there as long as you want to stay there, but God still loves you enough to come find you. Now, and I know somebody's probably watching. God had to come find you where you were at, not because you was getting up saying, I need to go do the right thing. You might have been saying it, but you weren't making the steps. But God came where you were. So I can't wait till the next episode we can see where Abraham and how Abraham went to go look out for his kinfolk. And let me tell you something. You got a cousin that's going astray. Don't leave him out there.
Yeah.
Don't leave them out there because the Bible declares they were close relatives, and because they were close, they went out there. You know, sometimes we give up on people too quick.
Yeah.
But God never gives up on us. So we find Abraham showing the love of his family members, going after him, even though he made the wrong decision. Got down there with Sodom and Gomorrah with all that sin and all that. Well, we'll get into that, which they had her all perplexed on tonight, and we'll get into that discussion next week because she can't wait to talk about it. Because she had, what was you going to call the show for next week? What was that?
Boats and up.
We're going to have to bleep that next part out.
It's Boats and Jose.
Good job. You came up with it.
And
Boats and Jose. Well, be sure to like and subscribe.
I
Share.
stopped it on it.
Oh, okay. Bet. Let's kill it.
Oh, man.